All right, so I was actually in the sauna, and I didn't really think about what I was going to say before I started recording, but I had a big realization that I'm going to remember. And okay, so it was the last one of the last videos that I made was about, like, I was gonna do something better. I was trying to think of, like, videos to make, I guess. And part of the reason that I wanted to make videos was because I liked doing things that were healthy, And so what I did was, I think there's a fan that I could kind of turn off here. Whatever. Okay. All right. So that's part of it. I get distracted. Okay. So I wanted to make videos because, I've always wanted to make videos, and it's fun, and it'd be sweet to always do that, So, start making videos, and then it's like, what's the content? So I'm like, I'm gonna make a video series about, like, trying to improve my sleep, And so I did actually try to do that. And as I was going into it, it was just kind of like, okay, this is, one, quite difficult because there are so many factors that contribute to your quality of sleep. And it was like, okay, a lot of these I'm actually not able to fix, okay? So, like, work stresses, sometimes things happen at work that and my job, that happens a lot. So it kind of takes your mind. I allow it to take over my mind. And okay, so anyways, this is clearly going to be a longer video than I initially assumed, but that's fine. I'm explaining what happened, and I find it significant to me, and maybe it'll be helpful to you. Whatever. So I realized that I needed to control my thoughts. And so there's a whole lot going on here. And I'm just scattered. So I'm like, okay, I need to focus my thoughts. As I say that, I realize I didn't put this cap on this lens here. There we go. Got it. Okay. So I'm like, I need to focus. And I'm trying to figure that out. And I actually, like, stop or remove myself from, like, social media, looking at stuff on the internet. I didn't really have much of a social media. I didn't have a social media presence. I'm basically like my friends and stuff. But, like, I just had to recluse into myself. And through a whole series of events, I wind up getting this book, okay? So that's a complete series, but that's not how it came to me in the first form, actually. I found the audiobooks to some of those. And in those audiobooks, it kind of allowed me to see that it was like, okay, I, for one, wasn't able to, like, focus my thoughts. I was just doing whatever I was reacting to everything that was happening around me. I just wake up and be like, okay, what am I going to react to today, basically? And So I'm like, oh man, okay, super true. And I don't even know if that's from that book. I honestly took a lot of time and, whatever. And then, so it was like, okay, I, one, am not able to control my thoughts and I'm just reacting to stuff. Okay. So I kept on telling myself, I was like, okay, I need to focus. Okay. Because it was just like, I was just trying to focus on anything other than reacting to stuff. It was like, okay, I need to focus on something. And it was like, oh man, this is pretty difficult. So then, again, just lots of roundabout ways, I realized that I'm like, okay, I need to use my willpower to focus. Okay, so I'm going to will myself, I'm going to make myself focus. I'm going to will it, I don't know if that's the right word that I'm using, but I'm like making myself focus. I have to consciously put in some sort of, I have to use my will to allow myself to focus. Okay. And then once I kind of felt like I was able to do that, I was like, okay, now I need to be able to, or I was just like, what now? What am I focusing on? Okay. And then it was like, okay, so maybe I was able to focus on something, but again, roundabout ways, I'm like, I need to find worthwhile stuff to focus on. Like, what can I focus? What can I focus on that is going to, like, give me a better life experience? Allow me to sleep better at night, and then want to wake up in the morning. So I then was realizing, once I was able to kind of I'm still working on it, but I was able to somewhat will myself to focus on my thoughts. And then I was like, these aren't my thoughts. These aren't even my thoughts, really, So it's like, I'm thinking about things. I'm thinking about things that other people are thinking about. And you could extend that to many ways, but it's quite literally, that's a lot of it. And I was allowing myself, my thoughts to be controlled by thinking about things that had already happened, experiences that had already happened. And it would be like a repeat. And I'm like, okay. And that's something that I've already known to not do that, but I was able to focus on my thoughts and see how much that's all that was going through my mind. So I'm not sure how, okay, we're not too far, 10 minutes or something. So at that point, I'm reading these books, for the most part, audiobooks, listening to the audiobooks, and I'm going through that, and it's just like, okay, so I need to be able to have my own thoughts, and then I will use my will to focus on my own thoughts, and then whatever those thoughts are, they're going to be, like, it's kind of weird to say, it might sound weird to say it, like things that I desire. It's going to be things that I desire, okay? So I'm going to think about things that I desire, in a good way, and will myself to focus on thinking about those things and imagining those things and then imagine it happening, kind of, to see what would need to happen for that to be able to happen. It's not just going to happen out of thin air. It's going to, and it could happen in any or many ways. But I'm going to need to think about it and imagine it, and imagine how I can get this, whatever it is. Like, step 1, better sleep. So, there are many ways that could come to me. But, and this is one of those things, like, it's like, okay, I've got to do these things, and it's not guaranteed, but if I'm able to, whatever, I'm not gonna, like, try to say anything about all of this stuff other than I was able to use it, at least to this point, to get myself, to will myself to be able to focus on at least the ability to realize that I've not been thinking my own thoughts. So anyways, from this point on, I think the videos that I'm going to make, it's just going to be everything. I'm just going to have a good experience and record it. And, I think we're going to have some interesting things to dig into. I do have a lot of interesting things that I like to check out. I like to use, like, EEG scanners on the brain, so I think that'd be fun. Do a couple, just think of an idea. With that. So now I'm going to, like, will myself to be able to focus and think of what I can do with, like, what I have right now.